It is Super Week, 3 days filled with action, and we have a lot more games lined up for you today. My name is EpicSkillshot supporter, and I am joined by Joe Miller and Martin de Visio as we're going to break down what will be happening here today. Starting off with yesterday's results, Fnatic and Alliance locking in their top 2 spots for the playoffs, meaning they will get a bye to the semifinals. And well, guys, especially Fnatic looking sharp yesterday, but both teams very impressive.
Well, 100% agree, especially on the Fnatic part. Against Copenhagen Wolves, yes, they were playing around a little bit. Copenhagen Wolves, they were defending well, but it never seemed like Fnatic were about to lose the game. So they were in control. And next game against SUPA, cruise control. Completely dominated, looks very, very strong leading into playoffs, to be honest.
Alliance, on the other hand, though, bit of a shaky game. A game that they were 12,000 goal behind up until that very last team fight where they won it and then went on to push the game. I'm not sure if that's an indication of how things are to go in the remaining games here. Of course, Alliance can still switch positions with Fnatic, or Fnatic can switch positions with Alliance, I guess we say, since Alliance are still #1. Interesting games to come from the top 2, though, I think, this weekend.
Absolutely. That's the top of the table. At the bottom of the table, we have Gambit. Gambit was on an 11-game losing streak, yet yesterday a fantastic win versus the Copenhagen Wolves for them, and actually finally showing some team play back again.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Gambit is that game yesterday, where has this Gambit been for the entire time? You have to think that the pressure, because it's now off, because of the fact that they're definitely going to promotion, has alleviated all the stress that they've had these previous weeks. That Gambit, I think, would have finished at least mid-table if they'd have been playing like that all split long.
I just love the fact they actually changed the tactic they were using. Didn't just try and do the same over and over every single week. Because we heard Diamond in the interview after the game even say in scrims, we just ignore bot lane. They can do whatever they want. I ganked the top lane, I ganked the mid lane, it's fine. In the game yesterday, all the focus was on the bottom lane, and all of a sudden Genja picked up 4 kills early on. He ended up carrying the game as well. It seemed to work. So we might see Gambit today put even more focus on his bottom lane here. TPs from Kubon and, of course, the ganks from Diamond.
Let's see what Genja can do when he's not on Caitlyn, but on Kama for that difference. And talking about losing streaks, SK Gaming wasn't doing that well either, but yesterday they came out very strong versus Millennium, and they were actually, I don't think we've seen them this aggressive in the last couple of weeks at all.
It just seems like everyone from SK Gaming stepped up the game. Because they were talking about how they were slacking, they didn't practice enough, and now everyone is doing it again. And suddenly the lanes are doing fine. In terms of team fights, they look even better now than they did actually before in this split, in my opinion. The game against Millennium yesterday was simply won by SK Gaming outplaying Millennium in terms of team fights. And it was very nice to see, and it's a good confidence boost. You beat a team you potentially will face in the quarterfinals. And we know how good SK Gaming can be if they do hit the top level, potentially going towards Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, as you mentioned, we've not seen SK play that aggressively this entire time, and it feels like they've had a change of heart somewhat. If you look back to when they did well in spring and the first half of the summer split as well, it was a very late game, mid to late game orientated play that they went for. They never did particularly well in lanes, most of the time going even, if not coming out behind in laning phase. It was later that they went really well. Yesterday, across the entire game, aggression pure, really. I mean, we saw so many kills in that game. Different style from SK, really looking forward to seeing more of it from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, it completes, of course, the mayhem at the middle of the table, where we now have SK, they won, but Millennium, the Super Hot Crew, and ROCCAT, they failed to win yesterday. So what do you make of those trends in the middle of the table?
Well, first of all, we are in Europe. So our teams need to be inconsistent to be considered a European middle-of-the-pack team. And it's just the same deal here. I wasn't even surprised to see Millennium, Super Crew, and so on losing games because, well, we've seen it all season long.
Absolutely, and with both ends of the table locked up, the only real question is what will happen in the middle of the table mayhem. Right now, only SK Gaming owns the head-to-heads with one of the other teams, and that's against ROCCAT. That means SK would go ahead in the positions if just those 2 teams wind up tied. What is looking increasingly more likely is that some or all of these squads may wind up tied at the end of the week, pointing to a tiebreaker scenario on Thursday, and we love tiebreakers here in Europe.
It wouldn't be Europe without tiebreakers. We've had them consistently throughout the last 3 splits, and let's hope for more games. I love tiebreakers.
I agree. I mean, especially also because they're all going to be so close. We don't really know who's going to win.
I'm very excited for that. And as the seeds get decided over the next 2 days, we'll begin to populate our playoff bracket with the teams who will be facing each other. The Super Hot Crew, SK Gaming, Millennium, and ROCCAT will battle in the quarterfinals on our stage here next week. And the semifinals will take place at Gamescom the following week, beginning on Friday, August 15th. Each of those series will be a best of 5, and the top 3 teams from the playoffs will head to Worlds to represent Europe in the group stages. Now, before we get to today's games, let's take a quick look at some of the amazing highlights from yesterday's matches that had you guys tweeting up a storm. Here are your top 2 LCS big plays. Up first was Yellowstar's incredible 5-man ult against the Copenhagen Wolves from @LogMU. That 5-man Soul Shackle from Yellowstar showing what a dominant support he is, no matter who he plays. This was your second most talked about play of the day.
May go down before they get close enough, but they're all caught out. Yellowstar goes in, 5-man Soul Shackle comes out and will proc on every single member.
So Standard, he's going to jump in, he's going to get the Wild Growth while Yellowstar follows up, so they knock up the members, they get the Soul Shackles onto them, and Wreckers in the background is just hammering away onto them. And that was just the perfect setup for Morgana. 5 members stuck in the Dragon Pit, he goes in, there goes Wild Growth as well to knock them up, hits Soul Shackle. I mean, you don't really get a chance to hit all 5 people in many games, so credit to Yellowstar, he took it, and they also won the game.
It was beautiful. Technically, and Candy Panda going beast mode against Millennium also caught your attention from @Timpot. That 3-man Acatian surprise by Candy Panda, boom, boom, pow, triple kill Kog'Maw. This was your #1 most talked about LCS big play.
With the Zenith play, Candy Panda going to be blown up. Here comes Freddy though from the side. It's a good knockup. He's going to get 3 low. Oh, they're all being shattered.
There is such a gulf in damage between both of these teams' AD carries. And that was the great Acathian surprise. Everybody clustered up together. AoE damage is a thing.
I'm not sure if you can call it a great Acathian surprise because you just move around anyway. Freddy, for me, was actually one of the big stars of that one, managing to get the 3-4-man knock-up at the start of it. Of course, that's the beauty, I suppose, of a Kog'Maw, that even if you're dead, you can still kill 3 people.
Clearly it was all planned. I mean, he was like, I'm just going to die here and get a triple kill. Perfect, get more AoE damage.
All planned. Remember, you can always tweet us the most memorable plays of the day by using the hashtag #LCSBigPlays. And we'll look for even more big plays ahead as we kick off the day with ROCCAT versus the SUPA Hot Crew, and then we will wrap up our 6 matches with a clash between SK Gaming and Fnatic. Immediately following today's LCS games, you can watch European Challenger Summer 2 Finals live on stage as Ninjas in Pajamas face SK Gaming Prime in a best-of-3. And as we head towards playoffs and worlds, you can always go to lolesports.com for all info on schedules, stats, and more. And click on the tickets link to find out how to join us for the quarterfinals live in our studio here next week. And now it's time to hear from all of you. Head over to Twitter and let us know which European LCS player has been the most exciting to watch in the summer split and why. Fisho.
So I have to say Kerb, because I never know what he's going to play. I never know how he's going to play the game as well. And the guy, he will jump into 5 people. If it works, we're going to praise him, say it was beautiful. If it fails, we're going to be like, Kerb over-aggressive, didn't really work out, Millennium lost the game. So I just love watching him play because there's always some random stuff going on.
I have to say, Jankos, 19 First Bloods ROCCAT have had this split so far. He's actually got 11 of those 19. Thing is, if you just stuck the camera on Jankos, chances are you're probably going to see a First Blood all over the map, the entire early game. Really exciting to watch.
All right, you can tweet us @LOLesports using the hashtag LCS, and we'll read your responses later in